Stepchildren bragged about how they get everything without respecting me, so I proved them right by giving them nothing. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Reddit Visuals. You know, I used to believe that family loyalty was automatic, that if you married someone with kids, all you had to do was love them and they'd love you back. I learned the hard way that some people, especially entitled stepkids, can be colder than strangers. I'm a 42-year-old man, and I've been married to my wife, Linda, for almost 8 years. When we got married, she had 2 kids from her previous marriage, 17-year-old Jacob and 15-year-old Brianna at the time. Their father is still in the picture, but let's just say he's more like a Disney dad. He swoops in for the fun stuff and leaves all the hard parenting to someone else. That someone else, apparently, was me. From day one, I tried to step up. I paid for family vacations, birthdays, and even upgraded them to a bigger house so each kid could have their own room. I wanted to give them stability, a home where they felt safe and cared for. But what I didn't realize was that to them, I was just a wallet. The disrespect started small, ignoring me at dinner, rolling their eyes when I asked about their day. Little things. I figured they were just adjusting to having a stepdad. But then it escalated. One night, I overheard them talking in Brianna's room while I passed by. Jacob said, "We don't even need to listen to him. He's not our real dad. He just buys us stuff because he has to." And Brianna laughed and said, "Yeah, Mom said he wants to play daddy, so we just let him. He'll buy us whatever we want." I froze in the hallway, holding a basket of laundry, feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. All the effort, all the kindness, the money spent, just for them to mock me behind closed doors. But I didn't confront them that night. I waited. I listened. And it kept getting worse. I started noticing the way they bragged to their friends. They'd invite people over and say things like, "Oh, we always get what we want. Mom and her husband just pay for everything." One of Brianna's friends even asked me at dinner once, "So, is it true you bought Brianna a car just so she'd like you?" I laughed it off, but inside, I was boiling. They had no respect, no gratitude, and no clue how much I was sacrificing for them. Then came the breaking point. It was Christmas last year. I went all out. I bought Jacob the latest gaming console, a new laptop for school, and some expensive sneakers he'd been begging for. I got Brianna a new iPhone, a designer bag she wanted, and tickets to see her favorite band. I thought maybe, just maybe, if I gave them a magical Christmas, they'd see how much I cared. That morning, we opened gifts. They tore into the wrapping paper like vultures, not a single thank you from either of them. After opening the last gift, Jacob actually had the audacity to say, "Is that it?" Linda shot him a look but didn't say much. Later that night, I walked past their rooms again and heard Jacob say, "Man, he's so desperate. He just keeps buying us stuff. I bet if we asked for a car, he'd get it." And Brianna laughed. Something in me snapped. I decided then and there, I was done. So I made a plan. I stopped giving. Completely. Birthdays came and went. No gifts from me. They wanted rides to the mall. Ask your mom. They wanted new clothes, gadgets, game subscriptions. Not my problem. I wasn't mean about it. I just stopped. At first, they didn't notice. Their mom picked up the slack. But then, they started asking, "Hey, didn't you used to buy us gifts?" I'd shrug and say, "You guys already have everything you need." Months went by, and the tone in the house changed. Brianna's birthday rolled around, and all she got from me was a card that said, "Happy birthday. Hope it's a great one." Jacob started grumbling to his mom, "Why doesn't he buy us stuff anymore?" I knew it was working when I overheard them again, this time complaining. "He doesn't even care anymore," Jacob said. "Well, maybe because we never said thanks," Brianna muttered. I almost smiled in the hallway. The real satisfaction came during summer break. They were planning a trip to Disney with their friends, assuming I'd pay like always. They even bragged to their friends at school that I'd cover the tickets and hotel. When they came to ask, I simply said, "Oh, I'm not paying for that. I thought your dad was taking you." The silence was glorious. Jacob stammered, "But you always pay for trips." "Yeah," I said, "but I realized something. Respect goes both ways. You guys made it clear I'm not your dad. And if I'm not family, then I guess I don't need to fund your vacations." The look on their faces, pure shock. They couldn't believe it. Brianna actually started crying. Jacob stormed off, slamming his door. Linda tried to mediate, but I told her calmly, "I've done more than enough. They need to learn that gratitude matters." They definitely didn't go on the trip. Their dad refused to pay, and I sure wasn't going to bail them out. They had to stay home that summer while all their friends posted pictures from Disney. The bragging stopped. But I wasn't done teaching my quiet lesson. A few weeks after the Disney debacle, things in the house were tense. The silence was different now. It wasn't the usual teenage sulkiness, it was guilt. You could almost taste it in the air. Brianna started trying small talk at dinner, asking how my day went, while Jacob just stared at his plate. I didn't gloat. I just quietly lived my life, finally without bending over backward for two kids who thought I was an ATM. Then came the final test. School was starting again, and every year I'd buy them new backpacks, clothes, and gadgets. This time, nothing. I watched them wait, thinking maybe I was just late with the gifts. The night before school started, Jacob finally broke. He came into the living room, fidgeting. "Hey, are we getting, school stuff?" I looked up from my book. "I think your mom's handling that. But she said she can't afford the laptop for my classes, and I need new shoes." I nodded. "I see. Well, I realized something. I used to try so hard to make you guys happy, but it never mattered. You laughed at me, called me desperate, bragged about using me. I'm not mad anymore, but I'm done." He just stood there, jaw tight, and left without saying anything. The next day, Linda confronted me. "Look," she said, "they're teenagers. They're learning. But you're making your point. Maybe it's time to forgive and move on." I looked her dead in the eye. I forgave them. But forgiveness doesn't mean I go back to letting them disrespect me while I bankroll their lives. I'm not their father, remember? They made that very clear. Linda didn't like it, but she knew I was right. 2 weeks later, I came home from work and found Brianna in the kitchen. She hesitated before speaking, which was unusual for her. "I wanted to say sorry," she mumbled. I paused, letting her continue. "Jacob and I said stuff we shouldn't have. We didn't realize you'd ever stop." I nodded slowly. "Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it." Later that evening, Jacob came in, awkward as ever. "Sorry, too. We were stupid." There were no hugs or tears. But it was real, and I could tell they meant it. Fast forward to Christmas this year. I still didn't go all out, but I bought them thoughtful gifts, nothing flashy, just things they actually needed and would appreciate. This time, when they opened their presents, both kids looked me in the eye and said, "Thank you." It wasn't perfect. They're still teenagers. But I finally earned something I'd wanted all along. Not their fake love, not their dependency, but their respect. And honestly, that felt better than buying them 1,000 gadgets ever could. So, was I the a-hole for proving my stepchildren right by giving them nothing until they learned some respect? What would you have done in my situation? Drop a comment below. I really want to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow.